I have increased my testosterone from dangerously low to over the average and will tell you how I did that. In my research I found many dangerous habits you need to avoid or else they will kill your testosterone literally. I will tell you how you can protect yourself from those habits.
I want to tell you here a little story. Imagine like dwarves, so like small humans. Imagine like a fantasy world where they live in, and the dwarves are extremely smart. They have scientists, they have warriors, they have built a gigantic dwarf kingdom where almost everybody lives a fulfilled life. And all those dwarves have like some kind of dwarf magic. So some dwarf magic, which makes them strong, they can use in everyday life. This dwarf magic make this kingdom great. But now the heading scientists of these dwarves decide to build the biggest mine ever. So they dig down at the deepest hole which ever existed. So fucking so deep into the earth until they find something extremely interesting. So they dig and dig and dig, and suddenly there's an empty space. They take a torch, let it drop into the space. It's a treasure chamber, hundreds of miles under the surface. There is a treasure chamber. Instead of gold, money, and weapons, they just found some material in there, some extremely interesting material. So of course they take some material, get it up to the scientist, and he discovers he can use this material to build all kinds of weapons, all kinds of machinery. It's so useful. They can put it everywhere. It's the ideal material to use in every aspect of life. So they take all of the material out of there. They take more and more and more. There's so much material down there, more than they could ever use in thousands of years. So they get it up to the surface, build gigantic machinery out of it. The kingdom looks so much greater than just a few years before. The population skyrockets, his kingdom spreads all over the fantasy world. But after a few years, they noticed something. This dwarf magic they had, this dwarf magic which made them strong, which gave the men its power, which they could use in fights, in war, to protect the family, starts to disappear slowly but surely. And they also see female dwarfs can't get any children anymore, and the male dwarfs also can't. So this material got them to the peak of their population, to the peak of their kingdom, but suddenly they see a huge rise in depression. Suddenly they see a huge rise in a sickness. All the dwarves get it. And slowly but surely they die. After a few years, where they reach the peak of their population, it collapses completely. A few years later, all that remains from this gigantic dwarf kingdom are just the weapons and machinery they have built from this material. You might be asking yourself, what did they actually find when they dig down so deep? What should they have expected? Of course, this place where this treasure chamber was only one guy's treasure chamber, and it was from fucking Satan. And while he saw all the dwarves living the joy of their life, building up the peak of their kingdom, he just smiled because he knew exactly what was about to happen. This material was made by fucking Satan, and all the effects it had on the dwarves were completely intended. So you probably clicked for other reasons than me telling you a fantasy story like Lord of the Rings on this video, but I'm telling you the story because we aren't much different than those dwarves. So imagine, this dwarf magic was just a metaphor for testosterone, the hormone which gives men their strength, made of civilizations great. What is the material I'm talking about here? What metaphor was this material from Satan? Look around in your room right now. Where is Satan's material? It was made from a black substance found deep under the ground, literally made of dead dinosaurs. Where is it on your room? The device you're watching this right now? For me, it's my microphone. On my table, there are a few objects. Did you think that there are no consequences to that? To putting it everywhere? Bro, the reason why man's testosterone is declining so much, why your testosterone is so fucking low, then compared to your grandpa's testosterone. In the early 20th century, plastic was invented. And we have put it everywhere. Animal studies have shown that when you expose animals to plastic, in particular, a chemical found in plastic called BPA, their species would go extinct. So they took some animals, they are males and females, like let's just say 4 males, 4 females. So they could literally make children and then have 16 children, 8 males and females. But this isn't what happened when they did those experiments, because they just contaminated the environment of those animals. I think it were fish with BPA, and they had some children, far less than scientists have expected. And one of the males, one of the children, had a deformed penis. I don't know what that means for fish, but I don't want to imagine it right now. He was unable to have children himself. And then again, this generation had children, and all of their children were infertile because they were exposed to BPA. And to our surprise, for the last 100 years, we did the same experiment on a big scale on whole of humanity. And surprise, surprise, what do we see? A rise in estrogen in males, man boobs, weakness, a lowering in testosterone. It's probably about 100 years ago, the first testosterone tests were invented. So for the first time, we could actually measure how much testosterone was in the average male, and it was about like 1000 nanograms per deciliter. Now it's 400, and the number is declining. You've probably heard about like 1% decline per year. Now it's actually more like 2.5 if I have it right in my head right now. 2.5 decrease in testosterone per year because of all those weird chemicals in your environment. Some fitness influencers will tell you like eat nuts, eat eggs, eat more fats to have better testosterone. Yay! And this isn't bad advice. But the reason why your testosterone is low, the root cause, the reason why you don't feel motivated, the reason why you build muscle so slow are those chemicals. It is plastic, it is Satan's material from his treasure chambers, which waited there for millions of years for some sad human to discover it. You can look this up on YouTube, like how a normal PE class in the USA looked like. I think it was in the 1950s. The average nerd back then had a six-pack, he was shredded, he was way more masculine than a normal Chad nowadays. Probably even more than me, if that means something. A few weeks ago okay, I need to give you a little bit a backstory here. In Australia, you need to join the military for like 6 months when you reach a certain age. And you basically need to be checked up. So there's like a doctor there who measures your heart and your health, and he looks at you and he looks at they literally look at your dick and see whether everything's okay with that. And when I was there, there were like 60 other guys there. Only one other guy than me worked out. When you looked at him, you directly noticed. I I immediately got respect for him because all the other guys there had boobs. They had literally man boobs there. They were all skinny fat. They were all fucked. And I'm not want to shame on them because it's not really their fault. But could it actually be in relation to all those plastics, all those weird chemicals? And do you think it stops here? Do you think the plastic apocalypse stops here? In the 1960s, the holy pill was invented. Birth control. A woman just needs to take this tiny pill and don't get pregnant. She can be a degenerate and fuck around as much as she wants. No consequences. Hee. Freedom. This is the life. Degeneracy. What do you think happens to the hormones? In this pill, there are literally hormones which actually fuck up a woman's body, a woman's health. Aside from the fact that she gets stunned by weird ass guys, fat, at the club. But what else happens to your body because of all the hormones in this pill? They don't remain in her body. When a woman pees, the hormones get out. And you probably think, oh yeah, the water gets filtered and then completely filtered water gets to my sink, where I can just take a glass of water. The hormones remain in the water. Birth control hormones are in our water. So when you just drink normal water, something that sounds so harmless, birth control hormones, the medicine, which is so powerful that women can't even get pregnant. It doesn't even end here. What if your pregnant wife drinks this water? Your pregnant wife, this water with those chemicals, with those hormones, which make you unable to get children. What happens when your pregnant wife drinks this? What happens? In 1973, mobile phones were invented. So, not those mobile phones, so just phones you can carry around with you. Where do you put them? Where do you put them? Just be honest. Front pocket, right? For most people, it might be right front pocket. The whole of your life. This invention sounds so amazing. You can call everybody at any time. You just need to take it out of your pocket and call. And this isn't some rants about social media, connection, the internet. It's about where the phone stays. And it's right next to, say it, right next to your balls. Your phone is right next to your balls for most of the time. The device, which has electric energy, heats up a little bit, just a little bit, and that means it heats up your balls. But I give you here the science. Your balls are on the outside and hang on the outside because they want it cool. They don't want it hot. They don't like sauna. They don't like it when you sit. They don't like it with like crossed legs, like a pussy. They don't like that. They hate that. So if you put your phone, which heats up, right next to them, you kill your testosterone slowly but surely, and your sperm count, which makes you infertile. I think the author Tim Ferriss, you might have heard of him. This author from the 4-Hour Workweek. He wrote that I think his sperm count doubled or tripled just because he stopped putting his phone in his pocket. Probably expect this video to be like, eat a bit more nuts, eat eggs, get sunlight. Then your testosterone will increase like 20%. But this video isn't about the 20%. Your testosterone needs to skyrocket to the point which is actually supposed to be. And the BS continues. I probably already mentioned in this video that the chemical BPA, where the environment of those animals were contaminated with this. Have you ever heard about BPA free? BPA free. You go to Walmart, pick some food, BPA free, some label like this. You're probably already thinking, oh, this is a good label. Just no BPA in it. Just another type of plastic. Instead of putting BPA into it, they just put BPS, BPP, PSP, or some weird ass chemical into it. If you look up, those other chemicals are as bad or even slightly worse. To research for this video, I also watched some interview with one of the heading scientists in this area, and something he said was like, we don't know any form of plastic which is completely safe to use. If this guy, the heading scientist in this area, doesn't know, we don't know. At this point, it's actually just like avoid plastic. No more plastic in your environment. No more plastic near your bowls. I'm not intending this video to just cause fear and cause you to feel bad because of all the shit they put in your environment. I actually want to make this video positive. So I'm actually offering here you now some actionable steps you can follow to avoid all this plastic BS and embrace cotton, glass, and steel. Because luckily there are alternatives to plastic. And this sounds like some paid ad, like just buy this new product which is plastic free. I'm not making this here. I'm just talking about materials. You just need to use if you want to avoid this plastic BS. If you want to avoid all those stupid chemicals. So, for example, what are you wearing right now? Probably like a t-shirt. If you take this video seriously, you put it out and look at the label which is back there and look at what material it is made of. And if it says anything else than 100% cotton, you're fucked. Because it's then made from either polyester or nylon, and both are plastic. And I hate to say this, most gym clothing is made of this. So it's actually extremely hard for me to find some gym clothing which isn't made from nylon or polyester. So if you take this seriously, you can look up which clothes you have at home and literally throw everything away which is made from polyester or nylon, especially your underwear. So your underwear, which is right next to your balls, to the organs which produce testosterone for you, right next to them. Buy some properly organic cotton underwear, and I'll probably link it in the description of this video. But the website is called Snox, SNOCKS. This is where about some organic cotton underwear. It was pretty expensive, but to me it's worth it. It is just made of cotton and no polyester, no nylon, right next to your balls. And since I've used it, something else started to rise every single morning with the sun. If you're a bit like me, you like the gym. And if you're much like me, you like meal prepping and need some meal prep boxes. So your limiting belief is, but I need my plastic meal prep boxes. But this is something made from steel. If you buy like some steel meal prep boxes, they're actually also a bit more good for your hygiene. They actually are also longer lasting and way better for your health, and don't contain any plastic, don't contain any estrogenics. How this is how the shit is actually called, estrogenics, all those weird chemicals acting on your hormone system. As far as I know, steel has no consequences if you use it. Steel has been used for hundreds of years, so I think it's okay. Also, I have here like some stainless steel water bottle. If you live like in, I think the company is from Germany, it's called Blockhütte. Those are a pretty good option, I think. I also have some glass meal prep boxes I also use, but the lid is like made from plastic, which is, I think it's alright because the food doesn't touch it, but I think steel is still the best option for you. Or if you need to drink from a cup, I personally just drink from a cup with it, which is made from clay, or just use a glass cup, but avoid plastic cups because they are also a pretty bad option. Also, all those plastic water bottles. I could make like a 1 hour list of all the shit I avoid on a daily basis. So Birth control is so powerful that women can't get pregnant if they use it. So if you're still drinking tap water, you need to find an alternative. There are multiple alternatives I can recommend to you. So there's this reverse osmosis filter. You've probably heard of this reverse osmosis. I think it was in some submarines. They have used it to filter the water for, I don't know why, but this is for what it was invented. But it also filters out all the birth control's hormones. And I've heard like if you installed it under your sink and only drink that water, your estrogen will split in half directly. So if you suffer from gyno or man boobs or from overweight, I think this is an extremely smart purchase. But if you looked it up right now, you will already notice that it's extremely expensive. Extremely, like $600. For me, it's actually good bang for the buck, but you probably don't have the money right now. I actually know it's a cheaper one. It doesn't work as well, but in the short term, it would be a good option for you. It's called Brita. 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 So this is some very simple water filter, but you can also install it on under your sink to filter out some of those chemicals. It won't work as well, but in the short term, it's still 10 times better than drinking normal water. Something I also want to mention here, you probably heard of fluorides. So fluorides, the shit they put in toothpaste on purpose. I remember in school learning like, oh, you need to have a toothpaste with extra fluorides in it because the fluorides are extremely good for your teeth. But what they didn't tell you is that fluorides are also killing your testosterone and they are bad for your health. And this is also in your drinking water. So Lucky Me lives in that area of Austria which is extremely low in fluorides in the drinking water. I think it was in the top 3 lowest in Austria. Maybe I shouldn't mention that. You can find out my address now. So I've mentioned your phone in your pocket. Like keeping your phone in the front pocket heats up your balls. So how should you wear your phone? If you ask me, just put it in your backpack if you're wearing something with you, or just carry it in your hand. It sounds so stupid, just when you're on a walk, take your phone, put it in your hand. Your ancestors took their spears 20 miles, 20 miles with them every day. So if they could have carried spears for 20 miles, you can also carry your phone for like 2 or something. I know things like that seem hard and difficult and very unlikely that you do them. But imagine how high your testosterone will get if you start avoiding them all. Let's just say you have average testosterone right now, 400 nanograms per deciliter. In a year, 1000. 1000 nanograms per deciliter. How much your life could change, all the girls you would have, Ari, how much your life could change, how much faster you build muscle, how much better you feel. Every single bit of work you put into this area is completely worth it. There are still some small things you should avoid. Something you wouldn't really think of, but if you avoid them, because they are the worst kinds of substances or habits, you would also see some immense benefits. So heated seats, receives, and hand sanitizer. So let me just explain. Heated seats heat up your balls. And as I said earlier, your balls like it cool. So heated seats are a no-no. Receives have the worst kind of plastic on them. So you know receives, those receives you get at Walmart who aren't normal paper. They are made up from some weird material. And this material contains the worst kinds of plastic which destroy your hormone levels. So avoid receives. And hand sanitizer. You know hand sanitizer through because of the pandemic. They have put it everywhere. At every store you go in, at every place you visit, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer. You need to touch the hand sanitizer. It also kills your testosterone, basically. It makes all those chemicals way better at going through your skin and docking on your receptors and changing your biology and destroying your male health like 100 times. Bro, if I said like 3 times worse, it's you probably thought like, oh yeah, 3 times, 100 times, bro. This is like, bro, avoid the shit at all costs. I never use that shit. So the summary here: you need to avoid plastic. You need to always avoid plastic. Like Asians avoid meals which don't contain rice. Real cotton instead of nylon or polyester. By the way, there's this material called elastine. If you buy like some clothing which is like 98% cotton, it probably has some small parts of elastine in it. It's some kind of plastic, but it's actually not that bad. In very small quantities, just to make it a little bit more stretchy. Elastine is okay. Buy a water filter, depending on your budget, reverse osmosis, or Brita, and never wear your phone in your pocket again. No more touching receipts, no more heated seats, no more hand sanitizer, and not heating up your balls. I know all this sounds extremely hard, and you must imagine, don't see it as something negative that all those weirdest chemicals are in your environment. Be thankful because now you know it. You have lived your whole life just touching everything with like brain dead, just touching everything with thinking it has no consequences on your biology. But now you actually know more about estrogenics and all those weird ass chemicals than 99% of people. You are now in the top 1% of people who know about estrogenics. You must know there are like 100 nanograms per deciliter natural athlete, which means that they have testosterone as high as, as our ancestors before all those chemicals came in our environment. And they have no clue about this. So if they have already this high of testosterone, probably double than yours, how high could yours get? Knowing like what you have to avoid. Probably so high that when you get like tested, people refuse to believe that you're natural. One thing I still want you to know is that no one will understand you. You will get into extremely weird situations where you need to avoid plastics, where you need to make up excuses. No, I'm allergic. I can't drink from a plastic cup. No, sorry. I can't take this right now. But if you ask me, it's completely worth it. So literally just say you're allergic. Ah, sorry, I can't take the plastic fork or something. I can't take the plastic fork. I'm allergic to plastic. Almost no one will actually question that. And if you say it's like, what's the allergy? Just say my allergy. I'm allergic to estrogenics, which destroy my health. This will change your life, brother. Work smarter and harder.